Utah is often praised for the beauty of its national parks, but behind those iconic red rock formations lies a side that rarely gets attention. We're talking about communities that are geographically isolated, trapped in declining economic cycles, and facing real social challenges, from systemic poverty to environmental strain. These towns are not just quiet stopovers, they are places fighting to maintain their existence in the harsh desert landscape with limited access to basic services. This list highlights 15 locations across Utah that are considered among the most difficult places to live in 2026 based on economic conditions, crime levels, and extreme social isolation. Price is an important starting point for understanding how reliance on a single industry can weaken an entire town. Located in Carbon County, it was once the heart of Utah's coal industry. But as global energy shifts moved away from coal, the local economy declined sharply. Today, the most visible signs are empty storefronts in the downtown area and aging infrastructure that reflects years of slowdown. Recent data shows poverty levels exceeding 15%, placing it among the highest in the state. But the most urgent issue is not just unemployment, it is a growing public health crisis. Geographic isolation combined with economic pressure has contributed to substance abuse problems, particularly opioids. Daily life and price often feels stagnant as younger residents leave for places like Salt Lake City in search of better opportunities, leaving behind an aging population in a town gradually losing its momentum. Driving along the main road in Wendover creates a surreal contrast. On the Nevada side, West Wendover glows with casino lights and fast-moving money. But the moment you cross into Utah, the atmosphere shifts dramatically into something far more subdued. Wendover, Utah, primarily serves as a residential area for casino workers across the border, yet its public infrastructure tells a very different story. The core issue here is a form of hidden poverty existing in the shadow of the entertainment industry. Schools on the Utah side often struggle with limited resources, and housing conditions can be challenging. The surrounding environment adds another layer of difficulty. Sitting along the edge of the Bonneville Salt Flats, the land is too saline for agriculture, making local economic diversification extremely limited. Moving deeper into the desert, the sense of isolation becomes even more intense. If there is a place in Utah that truly feels like the edge of the world, it is Hanksville. Its remote geography is so extreme that NASA and research institutions have used it to simulate conditions similar to Mars. But for the people who live there, this isolation is not an experiment, it is daily reality. Access to emergency healthcare can require hours of travel across rugged desert terrain. There are no large supermarkets, only small local stores where prices are higher due to transportation costs. Life here depends heavily on seasonal tourism from visitors passing through Capitol Reef. Outside of that, Hanksville remains a quiet, exposed settlement facing extreme heat, dust storms, and some of the most physically challenging living conditions in the country. It may be surprising to see a place so close to the state capital on this list, but South Salt Lake consistently records the highest crime rate per capita in Utah. Unlike the quiet desert towns, the challenges here come from density and poorly organized industrial zones. Police data frequently points to high levels of vehicle theft and property crime, creating ongoing concern among residents. The area is also home to multiple correctional facilities and homeless shelters. While these services are essential, they place added social pressure on the surrounding community. The environment itself reflects this strain, dominated by aging warehouses, heavy traffic, and air quality issues that add to the overall sense of unease. Blanding, located in San Juan County, represents a different kind of challenge, one shaped by long-standing economic hardship and cultural tension. This region is statistically among the poorest counties in the United States. Life here is often influenced by disputes over land use and the preservation of Native American historical sites. Its remote location, hundreds of miles from major urban centers, only adds to the difficulty. Unemployment remains high due to limited economic diversification. Most available jobs are tied to government roles or small-scale education services. For many residents, especially within nearby Native American communities, access to meaningful economic opportunity is extremely limited. Interestingly, Blanding was once a dry town, prohibiting alcohol sales until recent years. However, those restrictions did little to address the deeper, long-standing issues of poverty in the area. Unlike the previous towns, Tooele highlights the lingering impact of environmental concerns. It sits near the Tooele Army Depot, which historically stored large quantities of chemical weapons. Although disposal efforts have taken place, the city's reputation for environmental risk still lingers. At the same time, Tooele has experienced population growth without the infrastructure needed to support it. Many residents commute to Salt Lake City, leading to heavy traffic and long daily travel times. Reports have also pointed to rising youth-related crime, often linked to limited recreational options and a lack of social support systems for younger families who move here seeking more affordable housing. What about this town? Roosevelt is a place whose fate rises and falls with global oil prices. When oil is high, the town appears prosperous, with money flowing through the local economy. But when prices drop, Roosevelt can quickly feel like a ghost town, with foreclosures increasing and economic activity slowing down. This cycle of boom and bust creates long-term instability and stress for residents. Social conditions are also affected by the lack of long-term infrastructure. Temporary workers often arrive during oil booms, bringing short bursts of activity, but also added pressure on local services and law enforcement. When the industry declines, they leave just as quickly, often leaving behind struggling businesses and quiet neighborhoods marked by abandoned equipment and unused sites. Next, we move to a place that once held importance, but is now gradually fading. Green River used to be a key stop for travelers along Interstate 70. Today, driving through it reveals a different picture. Rows of aging motels with boarded windows and restaurants that no longer operate. Population decline has followed shifts in travel patterns, leaving the town with less consistent activity. One notable detail is that Green River is known for its watermelons, but agriculture alone has not been enough to sustain the local economy. In recent years, concerns about drinking water quality have also emerged. Limited funding has made it difficult to maintain reliable filtration systems, leading some residents to depend on bottled water instead. Helper takes its name from the Helper locomotives that once assisted trains climbing the steep grade toward Soldier Summit. The town still features historic architecture, but much of it shows clear signs of wear. While there have been efforts to rebrand Helper as an arts community, the economic reality remains complicated. Many buildings along Main Street sit empty or are structurally unsafe. Local income levels remain well below the state average, reflecting ongoing economic challenges. For longtime residents, the shift toward an arts-focused identity can feel uneven, almost like a slow form of change that does not fully address existing hardship. Behind newly opened galleries, older issues tied to poverty and limited opportunity continue to persist. Sitting at an elevation of 7,000 feet, Monticello faces harsh and often unpredictable weather conditions. Heavy snowfall during winter can cut off major road access, leaving the town feeling completely isolated. But beyond geography, its deeper issue comes from a Cold War legacy, uranium processing that once took place here. Even though cleanup efforts have been carried out, many residents still associate higher cancer rates in the area with past uranium exposure. This lingering health concern, combined with limited job opportunities, makes it difficult for Monticello to attract new investment. Life here may seem quiet, but that quiet often carries an underlying sense of unease tied to its history. Next is Delta, an agricultural town in the dry landscape of Millard County. The most pressing issue here is water. As groundwater sources shrink and long-term drought continues across the western United States, the future of Delta becomes increasingly uncertain. Farming, which has long supported the local economy, now faces serious risk. Delta also carries a historical weight. It was the site of the Topaz War Relocation Center during World War II, where Japanese Americans were interned. That past adds a somber tone to the area. Today, limited access to entertainment and higher education creates additional challenges, especially for younger residents who often feel stuck in a place that offers few clear opportunities for advancement. Then there is Magna, often seen as the overlooked edge of the Salt Lake region. Located near the massive waste tailings of the Kennecott copper mine, environmental concerns are part of daily life. Dust from the mining area frequently contributes to poor air quality alerts for residents. Magna also has some of the oldest infrastructure in the valley. Many homes have been left behind, and drainage systems are outdated, creating ongoing issues. While property prices here are among the lowest in the Salt Lake area, that affordability comes with trade-offs, higher crime levels, and a lingering negative perception that continues to shape how the community is viewed. Moving on from Magna, we arrive at a city shaped by something rooted deep in the past. Vernal sits far out in northeastern Utah, and it stands out because of the massive number of dinosaur fossils discovered in the surrounding area, turning it into a hub for paleontology tourism. But behind that uniqueness, the city faces a more complicated reality tied to its isolation. Because Vernal is so far from any major urban center, everyday living costs become surprisingly high, especially for healthcare services and basic goods. Between 2024 and 2026, the area has also seen a noticeable rise in mental health challenges among residents, often linked to prolonged isolation and the lack of strong social support systems in such a remote region. Next is Duchesne, a town that functions mainly as a transit point for oil trucks moving across the Uinta Basin. For those just passing through, it may seem like a routine stop, but for residents, it means constant engine noise, air pollution from heavy traffic, and roads that wear down quickly under pressure. The town itself offers very limited infrastructure. Its downtown has little economic activity beyond a few gas stations and small cafes. Duchesne feels less like a destination and more like a place people move through. With minimal public investment and few local opportunities, the quality of life remains stagnant, even as natural resource wealth continues to flow outward to larger cities. Closing out the list is Grantsville in Tooele County, a place caught in the middle of rapid and unplanned change. Once a quiet agricultural town, it is now being pushed into becoming a commuter city due to Utah's population growth. The problem is that this expansion hasn't been carefully managed. New housing developments have spread quickly, often without proper access to grocery stores or essential emergency services. Many residents have to drive more than 30 minutes just to meet basic daily needs. Combined with a weak sense of community in these newer areas and its distance from major cultural centers, Grantsville becomes a challenging place for families looking for convenience and stability. Looking at these cities as a whole reveals something important. Prosperity in a state does not reach every corner equally. Utah may be known for its stunning landscapes, but it also contains pockets of communities struggling under the weight of economic decline, geographic isolation, and environmental pressure. Understanding places like Price, Wendover, or Hanksville is not about judging them. It's about recognizing how fragile daily life can become when infrastructure, opportunity, and support systems begin to fade in some of the most remote parts of the country.